She received a letter from her husband who had been buried 2 weeks ago. Inside was only a note, "Don't believe them. I'm alive." I stared at the envelope, not daring to open it. Jack's handwriting. I would recognize it among hundreds. But this was impossible. I had held his hand in the hospital myself, heard the doctors say, "We did everything we could." I had thrown a handful of earth onto his coffin with my own hands. My fingers trembled as I tore open the envelope. Inside was a sheet of paper folded in quarters. "Don't believe them. I'm alive." A shiver ran through me. Who was I not to believe? The doctors? The police? The people who came to express their condolences? I checked the postmark on the envelope. Sent yesterday. From a small town 40 miles from here. I didn't sleep until morning. At dawn, I got in my car and drove. The town looked deserted. I went to the post office and showed the envelope to the clerk. "Who sent this letter?" The woman frowned. "I don't remember. Maybe a tourist." I could tell she was lying. I went to the nearest diner and ordered coffee. The waitress gave me a strange look. "You're not from around here." I shook my head. "I'm looking for my husband. I think he was here." She froze. "You should leave." "Why?" "You shouldn't be looking for people here." A thud behind me. I turned around. A man stood by the exit. In a long coat, with a hood hiding his face. He slowly raised his head. Jack. Alive. He was looking right at me, but there was no recognition in his eyes. I jumped up, rushed toward him, but he quickly left. I ran after him, but he was already gone from the street. I drove around the entire town but didn't see him again. I went to a motel and got a room. During the night, someone knocked on the door. I approached carefully, looked through the peephole. No one. But there was a new envelope under the door. I picked it up, unfolded the note. "Don't look for me. You're next." If Jack was alive, then who did I bury? Underscore 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 underscore. I slumped against the motel room wall, the note trembling in my hands. The paper felt cool, almost damp. Real. This was happening. "You're next." The words burned into my vision even when I closed my eyes. Sarah Wilson. That's who I was 2 weeks ago. Sarah Wilson, marketing executive, wife to Jack Wilson for 6 years. Now I was, what? A widow? A target? A woman losing her mind? I glanced at my phone. 3 missed calls from Jack's mother. One from Detective Ramirez, who had called the night of Jack's car accident with that terrible news. "Mrs. Wilson, there's been an incident." My fingers hovered over the detective's number. What would I even say? My dead husband sent me a threatening note? I'd sound deranged. Dawn broke with painful clarity. I hadn't slept, hadn't even tried. I splashed cold water on my face and stared at my reflection. Dark circles under bloodshot eyes, skin pale as milk. I barely recognized myself. The diner opened at 6. I was there at 6:01, sliding into a booth with a clear view of the entrance. The same waitress from yesterday approached, coffee pot in hand. Her name tag read Ellie. "You're still here," she said. "Not a question. I need answers." She poured coffee without looking at me. Creams on the table. The man I saw yesterday. My husband. Where would he go? Ellie's hand stilled. "Listen, whatever you think you saw. I know what I saw. She leaned in close. There's an old factory at the edge of town. People say, things happen there. But you didn't hear it from me. The factory wasn't hard to find. A looming brick structure with broken windows, surrounded by a rusted chain-link fence. Fairmont Chemical, the faded sign read. Closed 1998. I parked a block away and approached on foot. The front gate hung open, creaking in the light breeze. No security. No cameras. Just silence and the smell of damp concrete. Inside, sunlight streamed through holes in the roof, illuminating dust particles floating in the air. My footsteps echoed on the concrete floor. The vast space was mostly empty, old machinery pushed against walls, metal drums stacked in corners. Jack. My voice sounded small, swallowed by the emptiness. A metallic clang from somewhere deep inside the building made me jump. I followed the sound down a corridor, then another. A door stood ajar at the end of the hallway. I pushed it open. The room was set up like a makeshift lab. Beakers, vials, medical equipment I couldn't name. And photographs, dozens of them, pinned to a corkboard on the wall. I moved closer, my heart hammering. They were all of Jack. Jack leaving our house. Jack at his office. Jack and me at dinner 2 months ago. And me. Photos of me alone. At the supermarket. Jogging. At Jack's funeral. A red marker had been used to draw X's across most of the photos. Except mine. Mine were circled. My hand flew to my mouth to stifle a scream. You shouldn't have come. The voice behind me was familiar yet strange. Deeper, rougher than I remembered. I turned slowly. Jack stood in the doorway, hood down now. His face was thinner, hair longer, eyes hollow. A jagged scar ran from his left temple to his jaw, a scar he didn't have 2 weeks ago. Jack. I could barely breathe. What happened to you? Everyone thinks you're dead. Everyone should continue to think that. He glanced nervously at the door. Including you. But why? What's going on? Who did I bury? He approached slowly, like I was a wild animal he was afraid of startling. How much do you know about what I was working on? Jack is, a biochemist at Pharmatech Industries. He'd been working on something important, something he couldn't discuss. Classified, he'd said. Almost nothing. You never talked about it. Good. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture so familiar it made my chest ache. Then maybe you're safe. Safe from what? Jack, talk to me. His eyes darted to the door again. We don't have time. They'll realize I contacted you. They're watching the town. Who's they? I demanded. The same people who tried to kill me. The same people who want to make sure what I discovered never gets out. He grabbed my shoulders. You need to leave. Forget you saw me. Go back to your life. My life? I laughed, the sound edged with hysteria. My life ended when they told me you were dead. I identified your body, Jack. I saw you. No. He shook his head. You saw someone meant to look like me. DNA altered, facial reconstruction. That's not possible. It is. It's what I discovered. What they're planning to use it for. He trailed off, looking haunted. Sarah, people will die. A lot of people. Then let's go to the police. The FBI. They're already involved. On which side? I whispered. The sound of tires on gravel outside answered my question. Jack's head snapped up. They found us. You need to run. I'm not leaving you again. Sarah, please. His voice broke. If you stay, we both die. If you go, pretend you never saw me, maybe you'll be safe. And you? I have evidence hidden. Something they don't know about. But I need time. Footsteps approached the building. Multiple sets. Go out the back, Jack urged. Follow the river north. Don't stop until you reach Highway 16. Jack. He kissed me, hard and desperate. When this is over, if I can, I'll find you. How will I know it's you? If they can make someone look like you. Our first date. You wore a blue dress with white flowers. It rained. We shared my umbrella, and I walked you 6 blocks to your apartment even though it was in the opposite direction from mine. His eyes locked with mine. No one else knows that. Heavy boots echoed in the corridor. Go. Jack pushed me toward a rusty door at the back of the room. I ran, my heart shattering with each step away from him. The door led to a fire escape. I clambered down and sprinted toward the tree line as the first shouts erupted from inside the building. The river wasn't hard to find, a narrow, swift current cutting through the woods. I followed it northward, pushing through underbrush, ignoring the branches that clawed at my face and arms. After what felt like hours, the trees thinned. Highway 16 stretched before me, a gray ribbon cutting through green hills. I waited for a lull in traffic and jogged across, heading for a gas station on the other side. Inside, I used the bathroom to wash dirt from my face and arms. In the harsh fluorescent light, I looked like a wild woman, eyes too bright, hair tangled with leaves. I bought a bottle of water and used the pay phone in the corner. Not Detective Ramirez. I couldn't trust the police. I called the one person I knew would help without asking too many questions. Marcus? My brother's voice was a lifeline to normalcy. I need your help. I'm in trouble. 3 hours later, Marcus pulled up in his beat-up Ford. One look at my face and he asked no questions, just drove us back to his apartment in silence. Inside, I finally fell apart, tears coming in huge, racking sobs. Marcus held me until the storm passed. Want to tell me what's going on? He finally asked. I did, the whole impossible story spilling out. The letter. Jack at the diner. The factory. The photographs. The warning. Marcus's face grew graver with each detail. When I finished, he said nothing for a long time. You believe me, right? I asked, suddenly desperate for validation that I wasn't insane. I believe you believe it. He rubbed his jaw. But Sarah, grief does strange things to people. This isn't grief. I saw him, Marcus. I touched him. Okay. He held up his hands. Let's say it's all true. What now? I need to find out what Jack was working on at Pharmatech. Whatever it was, it's why someone tried to kill him. And put another body in his place. That's. I know how it sounds. I pulled the crumpled note from my pocket. But this is real. Jack's handwriting. And why would anyone go to such lengths unless what he knew was incredibly dangerous? Marcus studied the note, then nodded. All right. Let's dig into Pharmatech. But carefully. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jack's face, the hollowness in his gaze, the new scar, the fear. Not for himself, but for me. You're next, the note had said. Next for what? Death? A replacement? The thought made me shiver under the blankets in Marcus's spare room. Morning brought new determination. Marcus had connections, a college friend who worked as a tech journalist with sources in the pharmaceutical industry. By noon, we had a name, Project Doppelganger. Cutting-edge DNA manipulation, Marcus read from his laptop. Theoretical applications in organ transplantation, disease treatment. But rumor has it there's a military angle. Biological weapons? Maybe. Or. He hesitated. What? Infiltration. Imagine replacing key figures with exact duplicates. The room seemed to tilt beneath me. Like Jack. If what he told you is true, he wasn't the target. He was the test subject. My phone rang, startling us both. Unknown number. Hello. Mrs. Wilson. A woman's voice, unfamiliar. Don't react to what I'm about to say. You're being watched. Your brother's apartment isn't safe. Who is this? A friend of Jack's. I helped him escape. Ellie? The waitress? Yes. Look, Jack left something for you. Something important. It's hidden in your house, where you keep his grandmother's ring. The jewelry box in our bedroom closet. The false bottom where we kept important documents and a few valuables. I don't understand. How would you know? I don't have time to explain. Get it, then get somewhere safe. Use a burner phone to contact this number. She rattled off digits. And Sarah? Trust no one. Not even people you think you know. The line went dead. I looked up to find Marcus watching me with an unreadable expression. Who was that? He asked. Spam call. The lie felt thick on my tongue. Trust no one. Listen, I need to go home. Get some clothes, check the mail. I'll drive you. No. I said it too quickly. I mean, I need some time alone. To process. He frowned but nodded. Take my car. Call me when you get there, okay? The drive back to my house, Jack's and mine, took 40 minutes. The entire time, I checked the rearview mirror, convinced I was being followed. But no car stayed behind me for more than a few blocks. The house looked exactly as I'd left it 2 days ago. Neat. Quiet. A shrine to a life that no longer existed. I went straight to the bedroom closet, pulled out the wooden jewelry box. The false bottom revealed itself with a gentle press on one corner. Inside, our passports, Jack's grandfather's watch, the deed to the house. And a small flash drive I'd never seen before. My hands shook as I plugged it into my laptop. One file. A video. Jack's face filled the screen. He looked tired, afraid. Sarah, if you're watching this, something's happened to me. What I'm about to tell you will sound insane, but I swear it's true. He explained in clinical detail the project he'd been working on. DNA manipulation at a level never before achieved. The ability to replicate not just appearance but memories, behaviors. Perfect copies. We thought we were creating a medical breakthrough, Jack said, his voice strained. Imagine never waiting for an organ donor again. But then the military contracts came in. And I found out what they really wanted. Sleeper agents. Replacements for high-value targets. Assassinations that couldn't be traced. But there's a flaw in the process, Jack continued. The copies, their cellular structure begins to degrade after about 3 months. They die. Painfully. And the people in charge? They don't care. They're pushing forward anyway. He leaned closer to the camera. There's a list of targets on this drive, Sarah. People they plan to replace. You need to get this to someone who can stop it. There's a reporter, Augusta Chen at the Washington Post. She's been investigating pharmatech for years. She'll know what to do. His eyes softened. I'm so sorry to put this on you. I love you. More than anything. If there was any other way. He swallowed hard. Be careful. Trust no one until this is over. The video ended. I sat in stunned silence, the implications washing over me in cold waves. If what Jack said was true, this wasn't just about us. It was about national security. About innocent people being replaced, like pieces in a chess game. I checked the drive. There was indeed a list: names, dates, locations. Some were highlighted in red, marked completed. Jack's name was among them. Mine was 3 names down, scheduled for next week. A chill ran through me. I needed to move, to think, to plan. I copied the files to a second drive, tucked the original back into the jewelry box, and placed it in my pocket. The sound of a car in the driveway made me freeze. Through the window, I watched Marcus's Ford pull up. But I hadn't called him yet. The driver's door opened. The man who stepped out wore Marcus's face, his clothes, his walk. But now I knew. The real Marcus would have waited for my call. This wasn't my brother. I slipped out the back door as someone knocked at the front. Across the yard, over the fence, through the neighbor's garden. I didn't stop running until I reached the bus station 6 blocks away. On the departing bus to Washington, D.C., I huddled in a seat at the back, clutching my purse with the flash drive hidden inside. My mind raced with unanswered questions. If Jack was alive, if what I'd buried was a copy, then who else had been replaced? How deep did this go? And most terrifying of all, how would I know who to trust when anyone, even those closest to me, might not be who they appeared to be? The bus pulled onto the highway as night fell. Somewhere out there, Jack was fighting his own battle. And now I was fighting mine. If Jack was alive, whose body had I buried? And more urgently, who would I become when they caught me?